Hi guys, so we're making this today. This is an adult size Dickie. So for this project, I am using this. This is from Hobbii, Hobbii, the online store. And this is the lollipop cake. So it is a 4-weight, but it almost feels DK light. It's lighter than a 4-weight, and it's so super duper soft, and that's why I chose to use this for the Dickies. So with this, I'm using a 5mm, and I believe that's what it calls for, is a 5mm. So I'm using whatever it calls for. So whatever yarn you're using, use the hook that's associated with that yarn. So my gauge is going to be at the top of the screen right now for this particular yarn. So we're going to start off with a chain 51. So this is my 51 chains. This is built flat, so we don't have to connect it or anything. This is my 51 chains, and a lot of the ribbing that you see is because we crochet into the back loops. But for this first round, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna go into the stitch. There's not really any back loops. So first we're gonna do 26 single crochets. So that's my 26 single crochets, and this will be the actual turtleneck part. So now we're building down the shoulders and chest area. So our stitches are going to get a little bit bigger, and that's how we get the flare. So I want you to put a stitch marker on this next stitch, just so we know where it is, so we don't have to count every single time, because trust me, there's a lot of rows to do. So this next stitch is going to be a half double, and that's what you're going to put your marker on. And you're going to move this marker every time. So you're going to do 3 half doubles, so do 2 more. And the rest of it's going to be double crochets all the way to the end, which is going to be 21 double crochets for a total of 50 stitches. So I'm on my last stitch, which is 21 stitches. And this is what you should have. This funny looking thing. So we chain 51. But we have 50 working stitches because the 51st one was still on my hook. So we did 26 single crochets. That's going to be the turtleneck. This is adults. This is going to be the turtleneck part. So you should be able to roll it over a little bit. So not, you know, I know people are going, well, my neck's not that long. No, but if you want to roll it up to cover your nose, or mouth. If it's, you know, really cold and blowy out, then you still have that option, or you can just roll it down like a turtleneck. That's what the point of the turtleneck is. And then here, starting with our marker, we've got 3 half doubles. And then to finish it, we have 21 double crochets. So this will be the part that kind of comes down over your collarbone here and then flares out on onto your chest. So this is just a Dickie. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. Even though we did doubles, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, because every row in between a row of doubles, half, and singles is just going to be a row of single crochets in between them all. And they're all going to be done in the back loop. So from here, we're going to do every single stitch into the back loop. So it's a little harder to find the back loops from the front. You kind of got to turn it over to get into it. I know it's probably hard to see. Everything's going to be done in the back loops. This was the only row and our last row after we get the width we need is the last final row, which I'll come back and we'll go through, is going to be done in the full stitches, just because we have to sew it all together. So this is just a 2-row repeat, which means you're just repeating the 2 rows. So we're going to do our half double right up to our marker, or our singles right after our marker. We have to remove the marker, but we're still going to continue the singles in the back loop. So that's the only thing you have to try to remember, is that when you're coming back up, you're just doing the singles. So I am on my last stitch. I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. So now this row, now that I'm back up into my singles, I know that this next row is going to be where I had to do my half doubles and doubles all the way down. But this one is going to be done in the back loops. So I am at my marker, and I'm going to put a half double in that space. Two more half doubles, so 3 half doubles starting at the marker, and then the rest of it for 21 stitches is going to be double crochets. So I am on my last stitch. Just make sure you're getting into this last stitch. It has a tendency to turn over. Just make sure you're grabbing this last stitch. So you probably have to count 21 every single time to make sure you're in that last stitch if you're kind of new to crochet. So this is what we have. So you're going to repeat these 2 rows. This 2-row repeat is going to be done for, well, for my gauge, I did 77 rows. But I would measure it if I were you. So 77 rows for me and my gauge, which is loose, gave me 21 inches. My head size is 21 inches. If you have to put your work down and walk away, which you're going to have to, because 77 rows is a lot, just remember that if you're in the double crochets, then you have to do your 1 single crochet in the back loops back up. If you set your work down and you're in the single crochets, then you have to do the half double crochets back down. So it's just an easy way to remember if you have to set your work down, but everything is done in the back loops. So this will go up on my screen, the 2-row repeat, and I'll put the measurement. I mean, you just have to measure your head. You have to know what size your head is, and a standard adult head is 21 inches. So for the most part, this will fit the majority of people watching this video. But if you know you have a bigger size head, then I would go 22, 23 inches. 23 inches is a big man's head. However, my granddaughter, who has a big melon on her, her head is 22.5 inches. So measuring the head is super duper important for this project. So you will measure around the forehead, down around the ears, to the back, to the nape of the neck. So down where your neck meets your shoulders, to get an accurate measurement. And then you'll be able to measure this. So I'll meet you back here when you think you have your size. So I'm just finishing up my my last couple of rows, or my last couple stitches. So this, let me zoom out. This, oh, let me zoom out some more. There we go. This is mine. So I really like the variegated in this. Now it is a little long, but I like the variegated in this. This here too is also a really, this is a Red Heart polo stripe. It's from the Stripe collection. I actually buy this stuff at Walmart. I can't seem to find it anywhere but Walmart. And it's called, the color is polo stripe. They also have a parrot stripe one, which I'm trying to get my hands on. Actually, I have one shipped to me. I had to buy it off of yarn.ca. But anyway, this is my finished piece. And stretched out, measuring in the neck area of this is 20 inches. My head's 21 inches, but I know this is going to stretch a little, so I stopped at 20. But honestly, I could probably stretch it here, and it'll be, yeah, see, it's 21 inches, just me pulling it out like that. So the constant over my head, putting it on over my head will, it'll be big enough. So this last row is done in the full stitches. Let me put my yarn over there. This last row is done in the full stitches. So you can take out this marker. And we're going to chain one and turn our work. And in the full stitch, I just want you to do one single crochet back up, because we are sewing these two ends together. So I just want a little bit more substantial stitches. So one single crochet for 50 stitches in the full stitch all the way back up. So I am done my last stitch. I'm going to fasten off. I need a sewing tail to sew up this whole side. Oops. I probably have more than I need, because I always do. So you can sew up this side any way you want. This is my inside, because I've got that. That came in the roll. I was not impressed. I'm sure I can cut it off a little bit, but This will be on the inside. I hate getting those pieces of yarn. First, let's tuck this guy away. This is what we started with. Sorry, my heat is really loud. I think this is really long. So I'm just going to do a whip stitch. But I want to make sure that my inside is on the outside. So it's almost like I'm sewing inside out. So this is the inside of my project. And then you just have to go stitch for stitch. So I'm on my last stitch, and I want to make a knot. No one's going to see it. No one's going to know it's there. And then I'm going to weave. And then we turn it right side in. And that is our Dickie. And that's where we sewed. So it ends up looking pretty good. So this, like I said, this is for your neck. This is for your shoulders. And you're going to be able to, you know, fold this down. So I'm going to start this child's Dickie with this. Is a red heart polo stripe. And I have a tag in here. Pull it out from the bottom. So this is from the Stripes collection. And that's what it is, polo stripe. So it calls for a 5.5, but I'm still just going to use my 5 for this. This is for kids. So for kids, we're going to chain 45. That's my chain 45, and I love these colors that come out of this cake, and they change more often than the other one I used in this video. It changes more often. The variegation is absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to come back down like we have been doing. This is a 2-row repeat, so we're going to come back down with 22 single crochets. And then I'm going to do my 3 half doubles, so everything stays the same so far for the kids. That's number 1 half double, 2 more, that's my 3 half doubles, and then 19 double crochets to finish the row. So this is my last stitch. I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. So just like the other adult size, all the way back up is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch in the back loops only. Now just remember, when you move this marker, you're going to have to remember to put it back in, because you're going to need it coming back down. See, now my color's changing already in this polo stripe. So I absolutely love this variegated, and it's got such pretty colors. So I'm at my half double marker. I'm still putting a single crochet in there though. I put my marker back. We're still on singles all the way back to the top. So chain one, turn your work. So this is the exact same concept as the adult ones. It's just not as long. It's the exact same thing. So measure your child's head. It's super duper important to measure your child's head. But I'm going to say most children average between 19 and 21 inches. So toddlers will be 18 to 19 inches. If you need anything less than that, just come up a bit on your chain, on how long your chain is, but everything is still the same. Anyway, continue with your child size, and I'll meet you back when you have the size that you need. So I am on my last stitch, and I'm going to go into the full stitch and finish that row. So I have done 63 rows. Let me zoom out a bit. So when I measure, now that's my gauge, your gauge might be different than mine. So this should be 19 inches. Yeah, I can't see it, but it's 19 inches. And that is because, whoops, the head size is 19 inches for a kid size. But a kid size can also be 21. So that's why I say it's always super important to measure the head. So our last round, so we can take out this stitch marker now because we don't need it. And our final round before we sew is going to be chain one, turn your work, and in the full stitch I just want you to put one single crochet into each stitch. And this is just to give us a nice sturdy foundation to do a whip stitch. So I'm on my last stitch and I'm just going to fasten off. So now you need a sewing tail because we need to sew these two ends together. So, but it's just going to be a whip stitch. I think that's all that's necessary. So I'm going to make sure that I fold it inside out. I've got this little hairy piece, or it came from the manufacturer, so a knot with a little fuzzy piece on it. So I'm going to make sure that that's on the outside when I sew. That way when I turn this around, it'll be on the inside. So I'm basically sewing inside out. I could have just said that, but that would have been too easy. You just need to go stitch for stitch and do a whip stitch. Oh, you know what? We should probably weave in this first. Weave in this guy before we do that. Now we can sew. You can just weave. I weaved a lot because people are going to be washing this stuff. So. I'm not sure where I just sewed. It's hard to find. It might be this area. I suck at sewing and I can't find where I sewed just now, so this turned out pretty good. Because if she wants to wear more purples and reds on one day, she can. Or she can wear blues and greens. Yeah, this turned out really well. So, of course, this goes down. This is the turtleneck part. And that goes down. And that's your little Dickie for your child size. So mine's a 19-inch head, but yours is, you know, whatever size that you want to make yours. It's a pretty easy peasy pattern, pretty simple to do. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.